Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Stephen Hurwitz. I'm a member of the board of the Golden Gate Produce Market and CEO of Bay Area Herbs and Specialties. As you can see from my condition, the produce market still remains a tough job to be in. But actually, that's another story for another time. I'd like to start by recognizing our distinguished guests and supporters. Congresswoman Jackie Speier, who represents us in Washington. Thank you. San Mateo County Supervisor Dave Pine. Mayor Gupta of South San Francisco, who's one of our biggest supporters. And Councilman Richard Garbarino. I'd also like to acknowledge my fellow board members for their leadership and willingness to invest in the future of the market. Thank you for being here. And on behalf of the entire board, I'd like to welcome our many customers who are here today, and we appreciate your support. Finally, I'd like to thank the many people who work here. You're what makes the market so dynamic and such a great place to work. Thank you for coming out, guys. So I'm going to be brief, but let me just say that 57 years ago, the founders of our market had a vision, and that was to turn this outstanding location into a state-of-the-art distribution center that could provide Northern California with the world's best produce. The changes we're celebrating today reaffirm that the Golden Gate Produce Market's original vision and are setting the stage for the next chapter of growth and success of our market. The $8 million we've invested includes new solar panels, which came to us from our friends at Vista Solar. And you can see the panels everywhere here if you look up on the rooftops, the awning behind me. They also include food safety, traffic, and other infrastructure improvements that will make the customer experience even better. The net effect of this investment is that the market, which has been an engine of economic growth and job creation, is well positioned to continue in that role. Today, more than 15 million packages move through this facility each year, and over 475 people work here on the market. We're home to 23 family businesses. Our market is very tight-knit. We're a very tight-knit community that shares the same value of hard work and opportunity that inspired the founders of this place. With these improvements, the market is ready to continue to serve Northern California. In closing, I want to acknowledge two organizations who have contributed to the festivities today. A heartfelt thanks goes to Vista Solar, the Bay Area firm who designed and managed the solar installation. Thank you, Vista. Vista has helped turn our market into one of the most energy efficient in the nation, and they're also the sponsor of the event today. I also want to thank Legacy Produce, which gets its produce from the market each day, for donating the fruit trays, which we'll enjoy a little later on. With that, I'd like to welcome fellow board member and President Pete Carcione of Carcione's Produce to come to the podium and introduce our elected officials.
Thank you, Steve. Well, first off, I want to say this is a very happy day. It's a happy day for the tenants because they have a beautiful new market for them to work in. And not only that, they are going to have lower energy bills, which is just great. And it's a happy day for the shareholders who are going to receive depreciation as well as a 30% tax credit. So it is a happy day all the way around. It is my pleasure to ask Congresswoman Jackie Speier to say a few words. But I'd like to say a few words about her. She is a San Francisco girl that went to grammar school and high school here, and she comes to all of our Chamber of Commerce meetings and well represented in everything we do in South San Francisco. We are very proud to have our Congresswoman here today.
Thank you, Pete. It's great to be home because this is home for me. I have to say to the mayor, I regret having all the damage I did to Sign Hill sliding down it as a young child, but I'm back to celebrate what makes this town so very, very special. What we're really exhibiting here today is we're taking the equivalent of a 1962 Chevy Impala and turning it into a Tesla. Isn't that what we're doing here? Now, I was raised here, so the thought of solar energy being generated in South San Francisco would have been a laughable idea because we hardly ever saw the sun. But as you can see, it is creeping out right now, and as we all know, solar energy doesn't necessarily require the sun bright shining. It can come through the clouds as well. So, and we've witnessed global warming to an extent we never thought we would, having experienced 104-degree temperatures on September 1st and breaking all records. So we know that, in fact, not only do we see sun, but we endure the heat as well. I think what's really pretty special here is the fact that this was an idea in the minds of South San Francisco forefathers at a time when this was just an empty lot. And word came that the terminal that was by the ferry building needed to be moved. And so our forefathers said, well, why not move it to South San Francisco? And that's exactly what happened. So we have our forefathers to thank for the fact that this terminal is now here. And I want to say a special shout out to my old boss, who was then the mayor of South San Francisco, Leo Ryan. And he was joined by the premier realtor of all times in South San Francisco, who literally owned most of the city at one point or another, and that was Lou Paletti. And then, of course, there was the famous TV star that was well-renowned, not just here in the Bay Area, but across the country, and that was our beloved greengrocer, Joe Carcione, and Pete's father. There was one other guy, and his name is up on that building, and he has run this beloved institution since the early 1960s until his death. So let's give a special shout out to Primo Repetto, who was and is the Golden Gate Produce Terminal. I always loved seeing Primo because he reminded me of these forefathers of South San Francisco and of my mentor, Leo Ryan. So this has become a hub for shipping produce in all of Northern California. It's the largest and busiest in Northern California, and as it's been said, it moves 17 million packages annually, and it employs over 400 people. So we have seen it revolutionize over the last half century, and we're seeing it revolutionize again today because the solar project is going to generate over 2 billion kilowatts of energy annually, which is like taking 300 cars off the roads in terms of emissions annually, or supplying 200 homes with energy. But most importantly, it's saving 1.5 million pounds of coal being burned as well. Now, interestingly, if I said this in West Virginia, no one would be applauding, of course. So, 90% of the produce terminal's electricity and refrigeration needs are going to be sustained by this project. That is phenomenal. So thank you all for making this happen. Let me just say, in about an hour, I'm going to be going across the freeway there to one of the biotech companies that's making this country great, Amgen. And they're working to come up with a cure of cancer. And what I'm going to tell them is that all they have to do is come over here to the produce terminal and eat more fruits and vegetables, and we'll solve that crisis as well. So thank you all for the opportunity to be here. To Steve and Pete, I have a certificate of recognition that states, upon the occasion of your renovations for purposes of saving energy and improving the safety of food transported through the terminal, and for 55 years you've provided a region with healthy food for millions. With these renovations, your future as a major contributor to community health is assured. So thank you both very much. Don't get up. Come in the fire again.
Well, thank you very much, Jackie Speier, our wonderful Congress lady. And you know, Jackie just mentioned Primo Ribeiro, and I want to, Primo Ribeiro's daughter I see is out here, and would like to say hello to Carla. And another person I see that's out there that was very important to this market being built is our banker. Dave Lee Meadow is here from the Bank of America. Thank you for your help. The bank is important. Now, let me introduce our our supervisor, Dave Pine. Dave has been a great ally for our market. David, I'd like you.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to represent this portion of San Mateo County on the Board of Supervisors. And as an elected official, I dedicate a lot of my time to the challenge of climate change. And there are kind of two prongs of that challenge. One is to prepare the county to adapt to the warming of the climate that has already occurred. You know, unfortunately, over the last 100 years, we've put so much carbon in the air that we are starting to see the consequences. And one particular challenge for us will be the rising bay, the rising sea level. So with the help of, in collaboration with Congresswoman Speier and the council members here in South City, we are working towards addressing that. But we cannot stop our efforts to reduce the amount of carbon that we put into the atmosphere. I mean, as a society, if we don't stop doing that, the changes will be catastrophic and we won't be able to adapt to them. So that's referred to as mitigation. And what we see here is a great example of taking charge of the challenge locally and making a difference. I have also serve as the president of Peninsula Clean Energy, and we are now buying clean energy for all the residents of San Mateo County. 80% of the energy that comes to San Mateo County now is greenhouse gas free. But what we want to see is more locally generated energy. The energy we procure today at PCE comes from distant portions of the state. To have the energy locally is very helpful for reliability and is a source of clean energy that we want to pursue at Peninsula Clean Energy. So my hope, and when I drive down 101, I'm really always just so excited to see these panels, because sometimes, you know, this climate issue, it just kind of weighs on you and you worry about it. But when you see the produce terminal and Vista Solar partnering to put up a facility like this, it's inspiring. And when you fly into this area, what do you see? You see a lot of rooftops. So let this be an example for future companies to do just what we've seen done so successfully here. So my hat's off to the produce terminal and Vista Solar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. And it's now my pleasure to bring up or to introduce the Mayor of South San Francisco, Pradeep Gupta. And we are very fortunate to have a leader like Mayor Gupta, who recognizes the vital role of this market for this whole community. Without the partnership in this city and our market, and Mayor Gupta's leadership, the enhancements that you see on this market, beautiful market today, this could not have taken place. We owe Mayor Gupta a lot.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Thank you all for coming down here to be at this very, very exciting event. And I welcome all of you who are from our city and who are outside our city. We are really moving in South San Francisco. And I'm really proud to be here with Congresswoman Jackie Speier, because she represents the spirit of our city, how it grew from where it was to where it is today. And it's all because of leaders like that I'm just kind of standing on their shoulders and carrying on the good work that they have been doing. I want to also thank Golden Gate Produce Market leadership, as well as Vista Solar, for having the vision and having the courage to change regular way of getting electricity to look at these new ways of doing things which are very beneficial for many purposes. As Supervisor David Pine just pointed out, we need this approach for the survival of the climate, survival of the planet, for our children and next generations coming down. We have done enough damage. It's time we do something for the future generation. And also I wanted to tell you that my being here, well, besides being a mayor, and it's my duty to come to the ribbon cuttings, I do that all the time. But this is special. This is special for me. I can assure you. Why? One, I have my own solar panels on my house for the last 5 years. So I really thought that was a great thing I did whenever I did that. Number two, my professional career is electrical engineer. And I used to work with electrical utility industry. First with Southern California Edison Company, then with Electrical Power Research Institute. And I can tell you, it's written on it's going to be the fact that the next 10 years will bring tremendous changes in the business of electricity production. And you're moving the right direction. You're taking the lead in being further down the line. Number three, just like Supervisor Dave Pine, I am also a member of the Peninsula Clean Energy. You know, you might think about this as any other energy conservation-oriented organization, but San Mateo County is actually the economic engine of the whole Bay Area right now. There's so much going on. And electricity is a major component of keeping that engine running. So the tremendous amount of confidence that 20 cities of San Mateo County and the county itself have unanimously voted to create a jointly operated, jointly managed an entity called Peninsula Clean Energy was just a tremendous task. It's in the same general nature as Silicon Valley always does. We are Silicon Valley people. We know how to take the problems and we enjoy tackling them. We don't become despair. But besides all those good words, I'm also here because I see that solar energy or solar power is no longer an option. It's a necessity. It is the only one of the very few ways left in order for us to have our economy, our way of living continue without damaging the planet more than we have already done so. And I can tell you that Golden Gate Produce represents two of the best things in the life that are going to be the key ingredients of the future. One is living off the environmentally benign, environmentally friendly, fresh produce, more content of that in our foods, plus electricity coming from cheap, from better, cleaner resources. How can we ask anything more to have these two things right here represented in this project? Fresh produce and renewable energy all together. And you know what Supervisor Dave Pine said? This is a huge project. This is a huge project. And also Congresswoman Jackie Speier. What I read on the website and some of the information I was given, the project includes almost 4,000 solar panels on the roof. You know, and you know, so there was a little picture there which compared, one panel is 6 feet high. So when you put 4,000 solar panels, all that energy is coming to the produce terminal. And I can tell you one more thing, I don't want to dampen the enthusiasm and feeling good, feeling about it, but we live in the earthquake country. You know, and I tell you, I've been preaching all around that we should produce our electricity so that when earthquake hits, and it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And when those lines are down out there, and we still want to continue operation, these solar panels will be like a lifeline for those kind of times. So I really, really admire the project, the vision, and the way you have undertaken a business decision which helps out so many different ways. Thank you all very much, and I'm so proud to be in the company of all the dignitaries here who all represent and who are all working together for this great, grandiose future. And we all hope our next generation will enjoy and will admire what you did today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mayor Gupta. It sounds like Mayor Gupta would be a good salesman for produce. As a matter of fact, he was doing a good job. So, well, I want to thank all of you for coming, and we're very happy to have our Congresswoman from Washington to come out here. Of course, she is a South San Francisco girl, and it's nice to see all of you here. So thanks for coming. We're going to have some sliced fruit, things to eat over this week. Good fruit. It's good fruit. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Okay, here we go. One, two, three. There we go.